Who hasn't felt that uncontrollable urge to yeet the controller at the wall after grinding for hours, only to get absolutely wrecked by a boss straight out of hell? Or worse, you spend 5 hours crawling through a dungeon thinking you're on top of the game just to get slapped with a game over that sends you all the way back to the beginning. If you've been there, oh boy, you're in for a ride. Hey, I'm William, and welcome to Next Turn. Today, we're diving headfirst into the dark pit of gaming agony. Buckle up. These are the top 12 hardest RPGs of all time. Games that test more than your skill. They test your patience and the lifespan of your controller. So, have you beaten any of these? What really makes an RPG hard? Now, let's get something straight. True RPG difficulty isn't just about enemies with massive health bars or low damage output. It's way deeper than that. Difficulty in an RPG can hit you from all directions. Maybe it's the relentless combat, demanding perfect timing and flawless strategy. Think Dark Souls. Or maybe it's that steep learning curve, where the game just throws you into the deep end and says, "Figure it out, buddy." Then there's the resource management hell. Every item matters, party morale can crumble, and one tiny mistake can cost you hours of progress. And of course, we can't forget the borderline evil design choices, invisible traps, permanently missable items, and games that basically require you to draw your own freaking map. In short, a hard RPG forces you out of your comfort zone. It makes you think, plan, optimize, and most of all, never give up. All right, enough talk. Let's kick things off with number 1. Shinmegami Tensei 3 Nocturne. All right, folks, we're starting strong with a certified pain fest. Shinmegami Tensei 3. Originally released in 2003, this game is a rite of passage for masochist RPG fans. If you were expecting something along the lines of Persona or your typical modern JRPG, ooh, buddy, you're in for a surprise. Nocturne, especially on higher difficulties, feels like a direct challenge to your sanity. The pain isn't just from tough enemies, it's in the brutal press turn system. You gain extra actions by exploiting enemy weaknesses, which sounds great until they start exploiting yours. One mistake and your entire party can be wiped in a single turn. And the bosses, they are masters of punishment. This game doesn't hold your hand at all. You'll need to master Demon Fusion, figure out how to pass on the right skills, and if you bring the wrong setup into a boss fight, get comfy with that game over screen. I remember spending hours building the perfect team just for one boss, because even a tiny misstep meant instant death. It's merciless, it's strategic, and it's brilliant in its cruelty. The game got an HD remaster in 2021, available on PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC, so you can suffer in high definition.
My obsession.
Darkest Dungeon. Now we're talking about a different kind of difficulty. Darkest Dungeon. This gothic turn-based RPG, released in 2016, isn't just hard because of its combat. It's hard because of its stress and sanity mechanics. Here, HP is only half the battle. The real enemy? Your party's fragile minds. Picture this. You build your dream team, dive into a pitch-black dungeon crawling with horrors, and your heroes don't just take physical damage. They break mentally. They get stressed, develop phobias, become paranoid, even turn masochistic. And when that stress bar maxes out, meltdowns, full-blown panic attacks. They might go insane, sabotage your run, or straight up die from a heart attack mid-fight. Fail to manage their mental state, and your most powerful, battle-hardened characters can become useless or abandon the mission entirely. Darkest Dungeon is an emotional roller coaster. A hard-earned victory can be instantly followed by a stress spiral that kills off your favorite character. And yes, there's permadeath. When someone dies, they're gone. Forever. This game forces you to accept loss, embrace chaos, and realize that sometimes failure is part of the journey. It's not just a battle system, it's a mental endurance test where each expedition feels like a gamble with your own sanity.
My obsession caused...
Etrian Odyssey. Next up is Etrian Odyssey, a dungeon-crawling JRPG that looks charming at first glance until it grabs you by the throat. What makes it brutally unique, especially the early entries on the Nintendo DS and 3DS, is one savage twist. You have to draw your own map. That's right, the bottom screen of your DS becomes your personal cartography tool. You're manually sketching every wall, trap, secret passage, and shortcut. Miss a hidden path or forget to mark a pitfall? Congrats, you're lost. And being lost means more random encounters, drained resources, and way more chances to die. Adding to the pain are the infamous FOEs, powerful enemies that roam the map and can annihilate your party if you're not ready. If you accidentally run into one, you're toast. Etrian Odyssey doesn't reward brute force. It rewards careful planning, sharp observation, and methodical exploration. It's a rare type of difficulty that tests your brain more than your brawn. If you love cerebral challenges, this one's a gem. If you hate drawing maps, well, this game isn't for you.
I'll pull this off!
Tactics Ogre. Now, let's talk about a tactical RPG masterpiece. Originally released in 1995 for the Super Famicom and re-released in 2010 on the PSP, Tactics Ogre is one of the deepest and most brutal tactical RPGs you can play. The difficulty doesn't come just from the battles, but from the heavy decisions the game throws at you. And here, every choice matters. Spare an enemy? You might lose allies. Take a political path? It could change the entire course of the war. The game doesn't hold back, and every decision can mess you up in ways you never saw coming. And then there's the permadeath system. If a character dies, you feel it, both in the story and in your strategy. The battles are long, demand careful positioning and smart use of terrain. There's no room for autopilot here. Tactics Ogre forces you to think through every turn and every conversation. And if you've never played it or want to relive the classic, good news, in 2022 it got a modern remake called Tactics Ogre Reborn with updated visuals and the same brutal challenge as ever.
Last hope.
Always an eye for an eye. This war will never end.
Your adventure begins with a test of personality and your allegiance to one of the Valerian gods.
She was waiting for me to come back, all alone in the dark. She didn't doubt me at all.
The Last Remnant. Now it's time to talk about something very different. The Last Remnant. Released in 2008 by Square Enix, this RPG is a mix of brilliance and chaos, and at first, all you feel is confusion. Forget the classic turn-based system where you control each character. Here, you lead entire groups, called unions, and give vague commands like go all out or try to heal. After that, you just hope the AI gets the message. The battle rank system doesn't help either. Enemies level up alongside you. If you start grinding without knowing what you're doing, you'll actually make the game harder without even realizing it. A lot of players hit a wall with bosses that seem impossible until they finally figure out how morale works, how unit synergy affects combat, and how to use interrupt mechanics. The Last Remnant doesn't explain itself. It throws you into the system, expects you to figure it out on your own, and punishes you until you do. But once you finally understand how everything fits together, the frustration turns into addiction. It's one of those RPGs you're not sure if you love or hate. All you know is you can't stop playing. And it'll test not just your strategy, but your patience too.
Of The evil sown long before it fell. Canabris ended up in flames.
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Released in 2021, this is a CRPG that, like recent hits such as Baldur's Gate 3, takes all the depths of tabletop RPGs and throws it on the screen, but with a complexity that can scare even veterans. It's not just a difficult game, it's a dense one that demands dedication and a ton of reading. The challenge comes from every direction. There are so many classes, subclasses, talents, spells, and archetypes that if you're not paying attention, you might end up creating a character that's not even good for carrying the party's backpack. Combat is real time with pause, meaning if you don't have the skills to think fast and pause at the right moment, you're in for a serious beating. If you don't understand how your team works together, enemy weaknesses, and how to use buffs and debuffs properly, you'll get frustrated even on normal mode. The systems are complex, the enemies are well designed, and every decision, from building your character to choosing spells, can be the difference between an epic ending or a total humiliating wipe. If you love digging into skill trees, crafting the perfect build, and planning every move, welcome to paradise. Fire Emblem Thracia 776. Now, let's talk about a real old-school classic from the 90s that many consider the hardest game in the entire Fire Emblem franchise. Originally released for the Super Famicom, Thracia 776 is a true trial by fire for any strategy fan, and one of the most brutal entries in the series. Right from the start, it throws mechanics at you that you rarely see in other games of the franchise. A fog of war that never lifts, objectives that change mid-mission, enemies that can kidnap your units, and a resource scarcity that will take your breath away. You begin with weak characters, fragile weapons, and maps so unforgiving that one wrong step can mean the permanent loss of your favorite unit. Yes, permadeath here isn't just a threat, it's real and ruthless. To make things worse, the game loves to hide important information. Miss talking to the right character at the right time? Say goodbye to them forever. But if you're into hardcore tactical challenges, Thracia 776 delivers a deep and highly rewarding strategic experience. Just don't expect mercy. Even the most seasoned fans come away humbled after playing this one.
Quite clear. The militaries of the world are severely outgunned.
XCOM Enemy Unknown. Let's talk about stress incarnate, XCOM. And if you have the guts to take on Iron Man mode, well, good luck. By default, XCOM is tough. Aliens are deadly, your hit chances deceive you, and every decision matters. But Iron Man, that's when the pain gets personal. In Iron Man mode, the game autosaves after every move, permanently. No reloads, no second chances. Soldier dead? Gone for good. Squad wiped out on a bad mission? Time to start grieving. One wrong decision, a streak of bad luck, a sectoid landing a critical hit on your best sniper, and the whole campaign can fall apart. Your entire run can collapse because of one poorly handled fight. XCOM isn't just a strategy game, it's a test of emotional endurance. It teaches you to live with the consequences, adapt, and keep moving forward, even after disaster. It's brutal, it's brilliant, and if you love tension in every single turn, this is your game.
Special forces soldiers with weapons and body armor unlike anything you've ever seen.
Don't even consider visiting Emblem. Not in.
Dark Souls. No list of tough RPGs is complete without mentioning this legend. Dark Souls is like that strict teacher who says tough but fair, or better yet, tough and doesn't care if you think it's fair or not. There are no easy checkpoints here, no tutorials holding your hand, just a dark world full of traps, nightmare-like enemies, and gigantic bosses that'll make you want to throw your controller against the wall. Death is your best friend in this game. You will die. A lot. Like, seriously a lot. But here's the upside. Every death is a free lesson. You learn enemy patterns, find secret shortcuts, uncover hidden items. You become a master of patience, caution, and discipline. Because there's no room here for button mashing like crazy. Even though it's an action RPG, Dark Souls has the soul of a classic. Varied builds, deep story, if you can piece it together and even read the weapon descriptions, meaningful exploration, and consequences that make you think twice before acting. And when you finally take down that boss who's been driving you crazy for hours, the feeling is pure euphoria, like winning the lottery, but without the money, just the pride.
An ambush. Brigands descend upon the company and butcher most of the men. You are left in command.
Battle Brothers. Released in 2017 for PC, Battle Brothers seems simple at first glance. Lead a mercenary company in a gritty, low fantasy world. No magic, no chosen ones, just hungry, wounded men trying to stay alive. But you'll quickly realize this game is ruthless. Every fight is a battle for survival. Lose a good soldier, they're gone. No revives, no healing spells. That archer just took your tank's eye out in the second round. Welcome to Battle Brothers. Permadeath is everywhere. Injuries are permanent, morale is fragile. And when you're broke, low on gear, and limping into your next contract with half a squad, you'll feel every decision. But that's what makes it great. Winning a battle against impossible odds after losing 3 men and barely hanging on, that's the kind of victory that hits different. It's not easy, it's not pretty, but when you win in Battle Brothers, you earned it.
But as your ranks grow, so do your problems.
Resonance of Fate. Cool as hell, confusing as hell. Released in 2010 for PS3 and Xbox 360, Resonance of Fate is the kind of RPG that baffles you before it impresses you. The combat system blends turn-based strategy, real-time movement, and gun-fu acrobatics, and looks amazing while doing it. But the tutorial? Basically a novel. And even then, good luck making sense of it all. You'll need to master the tri-attack system, plan your movement paths, use the right bullet types, and if you mess it up, you'll get obliterated. To make things worse, just moving on the world map costs energy. Mismanage that and you can literally get stuck. But if you push through the confusion and commit to learning, the combat becomes addictive, stylish, and insanely satisfying. Resonance of Fate is beautiful, frustrating, and incredibly rewarding for those willing to stick it out.
Knights in the Nightmare. To close our list with a golden key, or a rusty iron one, depending on your frustration level, I present to you Knights in the Nightmare. Originally released for the Nintendo DS in 2009 and later for the PSP, this game by Sting is an experience that defies any traditional genre label, and more importantly, any expectation of ease. As many players put it, it's a fail-state simulator. It teaches you how to fail in ways you didn't even know were possible. Imagine a crazy hybrid of tactical RPG, bullet hell, and puzzle, where you control a wisp, a wandering soul, that manipulates the spirits of fallen knights on an isometric grid. Where's the hell part? Pretty much everywhere. The tutorial is borderline useless. The game doesn't explain its mechanics, and every decision has brutal consequences.
Many items and even important characters can be permanently lost in obscure ways. We're talking stuff like you didn't pick up a hidden item on a random tile with a specific character during a 3/4 Twilight phase. Well, now that character won't have enough attack to break a box in Chapter 15, and because of that, you can't recruit a certain hidden character who's also permanently missable. Yes, really. Nights in the Nightmare practically forces you to either play with a guide or accept that you'll miss something critical and have to restart from scratch. The chances of messing up because you didn't understand some obscure mechanic? Almost guaranteed. This is a niche game, made for the truly masochistic. And if you beat this game back in the day, no guide, no help, you have my deepest respect. All of these RPGs have one thing in common. They weren't made to please everyone, they were made to test you. Your strategy, your patience, your resilience. They don't give you easy wins, but when you do win, that victory means something. These are the games that shaped us through frustration, perseverance, and the satisfaction of finally taking down that impossible boss after 42 tries. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these games have you played? Got a pick that's even harder and didn't make the list? Drop it in the comments, tag that one friend who thinks Persona 5 was too hard. And of course, hit that subscribe button. Here on Next Turn, we honor gamer suffering with love and respect. See you next time.